Pakistan's founder, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, dreamt of an independent nation, prosperous, tolerant and corruption-free.
We've had a war on terror, things were not good, economy slowed down.
70 years on, his vision has all but disappeared.
I'm not hopeful for next 100 years.
What's the future for the people of Pakistan? The Pakistan Dream. Insight. Welcome to Insight. I'm Genevieve Wu. On 14 August 2017, Pakistan will celebrate the 70th anniversary of its independence, a country that came into being through turmoil and struggle 70 years ago, a nation that was to be the home for tens of millions of Muslims who believed they did not have a bright future in independent India. Now, as the nation prepares itself for the proud moment with joy, hope and enthusiasm, it will also give an opportunity for the people to look back at history and take stock of how far they've come 70 years after the Great Divide. Has the country realized the vision of its founder, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who dreamt of a nation that's prosperous, tolerant, modern and corruption-free? Or has it been a journey riddled with doubts and disappointment?
My guiding principle will be justice, fair play, and complete impartiality in the discharge of my duty. And I'm sure, with your support and cooperation, I'm looking forward to making Pakistan as one of the greatest nations of the world.
14 August 1947. The day Pakistan was formed from the predominantly Muslim regions of British India. As the British colonial rulers partitioned the Indian subcontinent into India and Pakistan, unprecedented violence erupted, leading one of the worst mass migrations in modern history. Some 7 million Hindus and Sikhs left the Pakistan territory, while 4 million Muslims went the other way from India. At least 750,000 people lost their lives in the ensuing riots. Though the traumatic events of the partition left the leaders of both countries shocked and dismayed, they still had dreams for their newly formed nations. Pakistan's founder, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, dreamt of setting up an Islamic nation based on equality, tolerance and brotherhood.
He said very clearly that Pakistan will not be a theocracy but a democracy based on Islamic principles. And this is said not once but at least 50 times on various occasions.
He surprised everybody by saying from today onwards, Hindus will cease to be Hindus and Muslims will cease to be Muslims. They will all be the members of the state that we are creating.
His entire effort in creating Pakistan was that to create a state in which Muslims can live according to their beliefs and create a society that is egalitarian and provides equal opportunities for all.
But on the 70th anniversary of the country's independence, it remains unclear just how much of Jinnah's dreams have been realized. Over the last decade, the country has been ravaged by a wave of terrorist acts. Terrorism and sectarian violence have threatened to destroy the country's social fabric. Have the lofty ideals of equality, tolerance and a modern Islamic state been dashed by rising militancy, sectarianism and the spread of conservative ideology throughout the nation? Is Pakistan today increasingly sliding towards chaos and anarchy as terror strikes threaten to tear the society apart?
It all began with the funding of the anti-Soviet Mujahideen with the support of the CIA, which joined hands with Pakistan's intelligence agencies to train, mentor and dispatch Afghan Mujahideen into Afghanistan. That was the first generation of jihadis. Now I think we are dealing with the byproduct of the second generation of jihadis, which are terrorists, which are mercenaries, which are serving somebody else's objectives.
Every minority group, every faction of Islam should be able to live according to their own respective beliefs, whether it's Shias, Sunnis, different ethnic groups, rather than imposing one style of Islam on people. And this flexibility in Islam that's why it has survived over 15 centuries without a major upheaval, because you allow this. So when intolerance comes and you say, no, my Islam is correct and yours is not, that is deviation from the basic principle of Islam, and that is what leads to violence and intolerance.
If it's any consolation in the country's fight against terror, there's been a substantial drop in terrorist attacks in the country in the last 2 years. The downside is it has not ceased completely, and terrorism continues to pose a constant threat to the people. Yet the economy is still growing at more than 5%.
5.6%. Is that small? It is twice the rate of growth of the West. And my bet is that because of what's happening now, politics now being defined in a way that the rule of law is important, Pakistan will add another percentage point in the next 5 to 10 years. So I'm talking about 6.5 to 7% rate of growth.
But amidst the growing optimism around the country's economic prospects, it has not filtered down to the entire population. Dark clouds have been gathering over the economy on account of uncertain political and security environment. And a sense of despondency has gripped the younger generation. Different estimates put the unemployment rate at between 6 and 8%, with more than 5 million people out of a job. And a section of the young population is getting increasingly frustrated, with many planning to seek jobs overseas. 32-year-old Javed Ahmed is a graduate in social sciences and anthropology from Punjab University in Lahore. Asif has been praying every day for the last 2 years, but hasn't been fortunate enough so far to land a job. Living in a rented house in the garrison town of Rawalpindi with his mother, Asif displays signs of frustration and dismay.
So it's not a good situation for a young guy like me who's searching a job and having a degree but no job. So I'm not hopeful with our government, with our system, to be very honest.
Like Asif, 24-year-old labourer Abdul Sattar in Rawalpindi has been looking for a job for months. Sattar only finished secondary school.
यही सोचते रहते हैं कि कोई अच्छा नौकरी होनी चाहिए, काम है नहीं, ठीक है। यहाँ पे आते हैं, सारा दिन खड़े होके चले जाते हैं, बहुत जगह पे अप्लाई, कहीं पे भी कुछ नहीं बना। फिर अपनी मजदूरी पे आ गए हैं, ऐसा ऐसा ये हुनर सीखा है, ठीक है।
A recent Gallup survey estimates that more than 2/3 of Pakistan's adult population aspires to leave the country for work, with half of them leaving for good. The figure stands in sharp contrast to a survey in 1984 that found only 17% were seeking jobs abroad. According to some estimates, 6 million Pakistani migrated from the country over the last 2 decades.
5.3 million young educated people, they don't have jobs in Pakistan. They're searching jobs, they have degrees, and they have even now some kind of boards that they're having placards that we are searching jobs, but no jobs.
It has the youngest population in the world. So a young population needs jobs. You need opportunities, you need investment. And unfortunately, at the moment, we have the highest unemployment in our history. We must fix our governance system, because the better the governance in Pakistan, the better we will make use of this opportunity.
Still, terror strikes, sectarianism and political instability make it harder for the government and policymakers to project a positive narrative and dispel a sense of gloom among the young population. Our hopes all gone for those who aspire to achieve better things in life. In the tumultuous and heady days of the creation of Pakistan, most young people were deeply moved by the lofty goals and the rousing speeches of Muhammad Ali Jinnah. One such young man was Sartaj Aziz. He was touched by Jinnah's inspiring words when he gave a call for the creation of an independent state of Pakistan.
Able to give a very clear message of Pakistan becoming a democratic, welfare Islamic state. And Islamic meaning that Muslims should be able to live according to their own beliefs and according to their own culture and civilization.
But today, Pakistan faces threats from several quarters, militancy being the first among them. Earlier this year, Pakistan was rocked by a series of terror attacks in its major cities that killed scores of people and injured hundreds. Last June, a bomb ripped through a crowded market in Peshawar, killing more than 70. In 2016, around 440 terror attacks shook the nation, killing more than 900 people. Though there has been relative calm in recent weeks, the threat of terrorism looms large, and the spread of jihadi ideology has shaken the very foundations of society.
Though the number of the terror attacks have reduced up to 60%, but the scale and the intensity of these terror attacks have enhanced, because now there are more lethal terror attacks. There are 90 people have been killed, 70 people have been killed, 120 people have been killed.
As security forces crack down on terror networks, a sense of fear and uncertainty has gripped many young people who have grown disillusioned with the state of affairs. Instead of being a tool that could help unify the people, Islam has been used to espouse extremist ideology that divides the communities into opposing camps.
If you see that people are using this extremism into the sectarianism as well, and the sectarianism is now penetrating in our streets, now penetrating in our schools, now penetrating in our universities, and penetrating even in our homes as well. Even if you could found the four thoughts in a single home, the four different thoughts of one religion. So one of my friends, his house has been burned by the other religion sect because he was not a Sunni Muslim.
The sense of fear has been compounded by political instability, corruption, and military intervention in the government. The latest chapter in the unfolding political saga played out recently when Nawaz Sharif was forced to step down as Prime Minister by the Supreme Court following graft allegations. Sharif once again joined the list of Prime Ministers who could never complete their terms in office. Former Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was hanged by President Zia al-Haq in 1979. Zia himself died mysteriously in a plane crash in 1988. Former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto was assassinated in December 2007. And former President now facing treason charges and living in exile. Still, some observers believe Sharif's peaceful exit may strengthen the democratic processes in the country.
We are not the only one in that. Japan has seen 7 prime ministers removed in 2 years because of corruption. Others have done the same. So we are not I'm not justifying. I'm saying that if justice exists somewhere, you have always a hope. And this also tells other political parties that if they don't want to mend their ways, the same law can be applied to them.
The fact that a sitting prime minister with a very comfortable majority in the National Assembly was prepared to go and sit in front of 6 people who were investigating his financial doings. And he did it, and he spent 6 hours with them. That's a very good sign of institutional and political progress, not the other way around. The fact that the Supreme Court said that because of this, he is not qualified to remain a member of the National Assembly. He accepted that. He has left and a new guy has taken over. I see these as very positive signals of a maturing political system rather than one that is unstable.
The question is, when will the cycle of corruption and violence come to an end? Will the new government and the security forces be able to deal with the present set of troubles that have shaken the nation? And will the billions of dollars of investments in the China-Pakistan economic corridor provide a way out for ordinary Pakistanis who are dreaming for a better future? This mammoth infrastructure project is a telltale sign that change is about to happen in Pakistan, one that promises to alter the economic landscape of the country. Running diagonally from the resource-rich region of Xinjiang in western China to the deep water port of Gwadar on Pakistan's Arabian coast, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, marks an important shift in China-Pakistan economic cooperation. The large-scale initiative to build energy, highway and port infrastructure will not only deepen economic connections between the two countries, but could also transform Pakistan into a thriving economic hub.
It's one of the best things that's happened to our country because not only is the investment coming in, but the opportunities with the investment that are coming in that has never given Pakistan such a reason for optimism. We've had a war on terror, things were not good, economy slowed down, exports suffered, importers wouldn't come to Pakistan, and so on. And suddenly we have this, what everyone calls a game changer, because it can change the way Pakistan, the trajectory which Pakistan is facing, it can just change that. We can just take off as a country, provided we put our house in order to utilize this opportunity.
The $50 billion that China is investing in CPEC, even if it takes 10 years, $5 billion a year will increase our investment GDP ratio back to 18, 19, 20% gradually. So that itself will accelerate our growth rate to 6%. And that will also solve our energy crisis, can add another 1%. So already we were 3% growth rate from 2006 to 2012. From 2013, when our government came, we started improving at 4. Last year it was 4.7. This year it will go beyond 5. So with the CPEC, we'll go to 6 and then hopefully 7.
China will not make huge investment for the sake of Pakistan. With all our deep friendship, China, with all honesty, must look for its own interest. Similarly, when we make an agreement or MOU with a country, we look for our interest. It all depends on mutual understanding and areas of collaboration. If Pakistan and its representatives are fully aware of our priorities, I think they can make a lot out of it. Development, progress, transfer of technology, all can take place.
If economic growth picks up, employment opportunities will also grow, perhaps reversing the trend among young people who are seeking jobs overseas.
Job opportunities will be much more. Right now it's based on power plants and infrastructure. But they're also building 10 industrial zones, industrial parks, with all the infrastructure, which will attract industrial and other investment. So that will be the one which is create actual jobs.
This is where the real opportunity is, because Pakistan has the youngest population in the world. So a young population needs jobs. You need opportunities, you need investment. And unfortunately, at the moment, we have the highest unemployment in our history. So this opens up so many opportunities for investment and hence employment.
The CPEC has indeed opened up a fresh chapter in the life of 25-year-old civil engineer Anees Ahmed, just when he was about to lose hope of landing a decent job. But his career has suddenly taken off following the launch of the CPEC projects.
अच्छी CPEC की अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है, यहाँ पर यंग इंजीनियर्स को मौका वगैरह मिल रहा है, हमें भी इसी तरह जिस तरह जॉब मिली है, नई नई चीज़ें सीखने को मिली है। थ्योरेटिकल और प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ टोटली चेंज है। जी अल्लाह का शुक्र, इस जॉब से हम खुश हैं क्योंकि इसकी वजह से मुझे अपनी जो सैलरी वगैरह मिलती है इसमें बंदा इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाता है, वालिदैन पे उनका फिर वो नहीं रहता, और जो हर पेरेंट्स की यही खुशी होती है कि उनका बेटा अच्छी से अच्छी जगह पे जॉब लगे।
The huge investments alone, however, won't solve the problems facing the country. Observers believe Pakistan must first put its house in order and effectively combat the scourge of terrorism to help ensure a smooth progress and implementation of the Economic Corridor project.
In the last 4 years, we have successfully tackled this, and now we have turned the corner. And the number of incidents taking place here are 70% down, and in next year I hope it will be 80% down. So we have virtually broken the back and turned the corner on extremism and terrorism. And no other country, in other parts of the world, terrorism is growing. In our case, it's coming down.
The two main challenges are fixing our governance, which is again, as I said, institutions, building up strong institutions. Secondly, is tackling terrorism. Now, terrorism is not as lethal as it used to be, because when the American footprint in Afghanistan was bigger, it led to a bigger reaction. And so the call for jihad, call for getting rid of the Americans, especially in the Pashtun belt, there was a lot of unrest, because whatever happens in Afghanistan, in the Pashtun belt of Afghanistan has an impact on Pakistan Pashtun belt. But as the American footprint has got smaller, this level of fanaticism is also going down. And what we hope is that one day, if there is peace in Afghanistan, Pakistan will become stable after that.
Pakistan declared itself a fully independent nation in August 1947. But 70 years on, the country remains more than ever vulnerable to religious extremism. And it's nothing short of miraculous that Pakistan survived after so many atrocities, terrorist attacks, sectarian conflicts, political assassinations and military dictatorships. It's the kind of society that its founder Muhammad Ali Jinnah dreamt of nothing more than just a dream, at least for now.
He wanted a democratic Islamic Pakistan, and what we are seeing now on the ground, that there is an attempt on the part of the militants to impose their harder version of Islam, theological version, a version that is not acceptable to the most of the people in Pakistan.
To begin with, dreams are always necessary to get down to earth realities. But dreams may not all be fulfilled. Yet you need dreams, because dream means you build a utopia and then gradually full color in it. In that sense, definitely, a big part of dream was realized.
That's it for Insight this week. I'm Genevieve Wu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.